I have no clue what to do in phase 4. Literally, I don't think this is fun. I need a minute. No, I need to watch a guide or something. No, I completely... Dude, what is that girl? You guys know that YouTuber girl? She's like kind of hot. And she does all these like mythic raid mechanics. What the fuck, 7 years ago? She made videos 7 years ago?
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the second Coil of Bahamut Turn 4. Also...
I lost. I lost. Show on stream? Okay. I can show on stream.
known as Turn 9.
But this was 7 years ago, by the way. Did anything change?
Is the final raid boss made available by patch 2.2 and draws to a close this chapter of Final Fantasy XIV.
Nope, okay.
My name is Ms. Tech and I'll be your dungeon guide. Please note that we have chosen to use a one-tank strategy.
I lost. She's still doing videos, right? Oh, I mean... Oh, so she's only making videos when new, like, raid comes out, you see? Yeah. Alright, I only need phase 4. I only need phase 4, nothing else.
A stacking debuff that will instantly destroy. After around 70 seconds of the second spawn of golems, Nael will begin to cast Mega Flare. Should any meteors still be up at this time, they will explode and wipe the raid. If you've cleared all meteors, you are good to go into phase 3. Shield and heal through Mega Flare and get ready for the hard part. At this point, Nael becomes active again, smashing down on the tank. She loses her abilities from phase 1, including her cleave, making it safe to stand in front of her. From this point on, all of her crazy heavy-hitting attacks will only hit her primary target.
Okay, so you didn't lie. I can actually stand in front of the boss. She doesn't have cleave anymore. Okay, so you didn't lie. Because one guy told me that, but I thought he was baiting me. He was like farming keg W's, you know?
The first and most important mechanic of this phase is Heaven's Fall. This will bring down a massive elegant hunk of junk into the center of the room that will instantly kill anyone underneath it and knock back the rest of the raid a set distance. All while dealing damage based on proximity to the pillar. To avoid getting punted into the death wall, players should stand slightly outside of the center, roughly in the sweet zone. Each Heaven's Fall piece of junk will divide the platform into a different pattern of pulsing yellow zones.
No problem.
Standing in these zones when they explode will do massive damage and may kill you, so be sure to get into the safe zone as soon as possible. Each death zone pattern gets harder and harder to dodge, and ideally you will be pushing Nael into the last phase with only 2 Heaven's Falls, avoiding the hard patterns entirely. Moments after the first Heaven's Fall junk disappears, an ad will spawn that should be picked up by the tanks immediately. This ad has some pretty nasty primary attacks, and if you're solo tanking, be ready for that extra damage. The ad will also drop a fire patch on the ground that should be avoided. During this
Is this how the fight
Nael
looked
will
back then?
also afflict a player with Garrote Twist. This purple debuff will afflict the player with Garrote, a stacking debuff that will instantly destroy the player if it reaches 9 stacks, but the only way to clear it is linked with the death of the ad. At around 50%, the ad will stop moving and instead cast Binding Chain on 2 players. Binding Chain will slowly stack Garrote debuffs on the affected players, just like Garrote Twist.
Instantly goes to Instagram, that's how I do it. Okay, I know there's still everything here.
The moment that the ad dies.
Wait, what did she say about chains? Similar to Garrote Twist, but stop stacking when ad dies. Yeah, okay.
Players. Binding Chain will slowly stack Garrote debuffs on the affected players, just like Garrote. Upon death, the ad will throw out a large AoE that players should avoid. Shortly after that AoE, 3 small white circles will spawn around the area. These circles will remove any stacks of Garrote Twist and should be used by those affected players to clear their debuffs
I didn't even realize that.
as possible, as they do despawn after a short time. Nael will cast another Garrote Twist before the next ad or phase change, and that player needs to be ready to clear before the circles disappear. Everyone needs to keep
Dude, this fight used to be crazy back then. Are you kidding me? This is like Mythic Nazot or some shit.
Out on their debuffs here, as it can land on any player. Shortly after that first ad dies, you'll get your second Heaven's Fall. This piece of junk will pulse out an alternating starburst pattern of yellow death. Stand in the safe zone, wait for the explosion, and step into the new safe zone. During the second Heaven's Fall, Nael will begin to harass random players with a ground-targeted AoE called Supernova. The Supernova cast will drop a black hole underneath the player that will do a massive amount of damage if not avoided and can suck in nearby players, placing a
So Supernova targets players with ground AoE. Is that the shit on the ground? I died to first pull. Is this it? Stay out of the suck zone. Yes. So if I get a debuff, I just run out or what?
Massive amount of damage if not avoided and can suck in nearby players, placing a heavy on them. Remember to stay away from the black holes of death, especially when you're dodging the yellow explosions. The phase change occurs at 47%. With one tank, you should have little trouble pushing into
Oh, so 47% she goes into phase 4. Now this is what I want to know.
phase 4 before the next ad. If you're expecting 2 ads, remember to burn the ad, clear your 2 twists, and dodge supernovas. At 47%, Nael will cast Bahamut's Favor, a stacking buff that will increase her outgoing damage. This acts as a soft enrage for the fight, and you want to down her before the damage gets too much to handle. At the same time, 3 elemental dragons will appear around the outer perimeter of the room in one of
Okay, so 3 dragons will spawn around the room, okay? Flying outside the platform in fixed positions, okay? Throw out debuffs and die bombs in a set rotation. Wait, what?
3 fixed positions. Each dragon will afflict random players with specific debuffs that will be handled throughout the rest of the fight. The specific position of these dragons will also affect how we eventually handle the upcoming dive bombs, but we'll talk about that soon. Nael will be hitting its primary target with the deadly Bahamut's Claw. This ability will hit the tank 5 times very quickly, and tanks and healers
that's when my tank goes to 1 health, right?
If you're 2 tanking, the second tank can revoke during Claw to minimize the overall damage. We'll see a few abilities from phase 1 make a reappearance here. In between the new debuffs we'll be juggling. Ice Claw will throw out an ice ball on the raid 1 player at a time until all players are affected by the ice bitten debuff. This debuff
Cast on 1 player in seconds through. Dude, I feel like I'm studying to fucking be a surgeon. Bro, it's a raid mechanic. Can't you just like make a guide? Okay, go out. Go in. Cast on 1 player and cycle through the rest of the raid before next cast. Okay. Getting hit by ice when you already have ice, you will die. But I don't understand, man. What does that mean? Isn't it random? How do I get hit by ice if it's random? You stupid, man.
Will make you deathly vulnerable to another hit of the same element and can only be dispelled by the hit from the opposite element. In this case, Fireball. Fireclaw
Oh, so it is random, but I can dispel myself.
will place a yellow line on a random player, indicating that they will be hit by Fireball in a few seconds. The Fireball will
Oh, I
hit the player and
understand
splash around,
now.
hitting them and anyone in range with a
Okay, I understand now. That's so easy, bro.
Fire Scorch debuff. This debuff will make you deathly vulnerable to another hit of fire and can only be dispelled by a hit of Ice Ball. The idea behind these 2 debuffs is to control what you're getting hit by at what time, so that your debuffs cancel each other out before you're hit by the next set. It sounds complicated, but in reality, it's quite simple.
Yeah, it sounds complicated, but the reality is really not.
The group will be stacked on top of the tank at the beginning of phase 4. From then on, you will alternate every odd fireball out of the group. With the timing, this will cancel.
Wait, what? Wait! What? There's more?
From then on, you will alternate every. It's quite simple to deal with. The group will be stacked on top of the tank at the beginning of phase 4. From then on, you will alternate every odd fireball out of the group. With the timing, this will cancel out the previously applied ice bitten debuffs. Every even fireball will stay inside the group, and the debuff will subsequently be removed by the next ice ball.
Oh, I understand. So every odd goes out or in? So like first one goes out and then second one is in, third one is out. Is that true? Right? First fire goes out. Yeah, so out, in, out, in, out, in. Okay. But you know what I still don't understand about these frost buffs? So if you have a fire debuff, you have to remove it with frost, and frost you remove with fire. But what is frost? Like how do you... Like fire, I understand. You get targeted by dragons, you explode. But what do you get, like, how do you explode with frost? Frost is random. But let's say you have fire. She explained, I didn't hear anything. Frost is random, but all you will get frost. Okay. But she says, if you have a fire debuff, you remove it with frost. I don't understand.
Beginning of phase 4. From then on, you will alternate every odd fireball out of the group.
Maybe I ignore that.
This will cancel out the previously applied ice bitten debuffs. Every even fireball will stay inside the group, and the debuff will subsequently be removed by the next.
And when do we stack? When do we stack in place 4? At 25% or what?
Keep this rotation in mind because we're about to
Thank you,
throw
but
another
flying
wrench into it. The
stapler.
third dragon will put up a thunderstruck debuff every 10 seconds on a random player. After 5 seconds, this debuff will explode and do massive damage to anyone around the player while also afflicting them with paralyzed.
Yo, what did she say, sorry?
By the throw another wrench into it. The third dragon will put up a Thunderstruck debuff every 10 seconds on a random player. After 5 seconds, this debuff will explode and do massive damage to anyone around the player while also afflicting them with Paralyze. However, it does nothing to the player originally afflicted, and obviously we don't want this debuff hitting anyone. The general idea in handling Thunderstruck is to have the affected player move out of the group immediately until their debuff explodes. The catch here is handling all of these debuffs appropriately while
I'm gonna stop now and I'm gonna go into phase 4 again with knowing what I know.
Can spawn in ever. For example, since these positions are fixed, we know that if the dragons are in position number 1, these two will always dive first. This goes for the other 2 possible patterns as well. Since we know their set patterns, we assign one player to visually identify which dragon pattern we're dealing with and place waymarkers.
Oh, I see now. If you look there, then you can actually see, and you can see these dragons, by the way, before like you can literally know where safe spot is a minute before dive bombs, right? Is that true? Yeah, exactly. So then it's not hard. Really, it's not hard. Like, you just look where it's safe spot. Yeah.
Marks accordingly. The first waymark in between the first 2 diving dragons, and the second waymark to the left of the third dragon. The assigned player should use cardinal directions and be able to quickly recognize the dragon patterns, so this may take some practice. Let's go back to where we left off previously. Here we are loosely spread in preparation for the first set of dive bombs. During this first set of dive bombs, you have 2 sets of meteor stream happening, so healers will need to be on their toes, and the raid needs to make sure they're not near anyone else. In our group, we bait the first dive bomb near the B waymark, and the second to C. The group moves towards B until the first dive bomb marker comes up. That person then runs to the edge of the arena near B until
Are you kidding me, man?
Then runs back into the center. At this point, the rest of the raid should already be loosely spread near C, waiting for the second dive bomb marker. Once the second
But there's more than one dive bomb. Oh my god.
Dive bomb marker is out, that person stays near C, while everyone else begins to make their way back to B. Be sure not to run too far ahead or you'll run straight into that first dive bomb. Heal through the second meteor stream and get ready to stack back in, after the boss has crashed down onto the table. At this point, the phase resets and you handle the debuffs.
Oh man. So I go back to doing quests. You turn off your brain, you're just like a samurai of Eorzea, you go fight evil, you know, everything is just easy, you cannot die. Here, I have to look for some fucking patterns, bro. Like, there's 3 dragons, 2 go, and then 1 goes after them. Then you have to find a safe spot. Then she repeats that again while having fucking bombs on your head, while having debuff that you have to dispel, while killing ads as she's... What the fuck, bro? Just unsync in 1 shot. No.